You must separate your self-worth from your net worth. Hello everyone, I'm Colin with Harness Money, and go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. It helps me grow this channel, reach more people, and it just motivates me to keep making more videos, which I love to do. And now let's dig into net worth versus self-worth. I think it's important to separate net worth and self-worth because so many of us tie these two items together. As money or net income increases, we feel good, and as our net income decreases, we feel bad. And a lot of people tie these two things together, and it is important to separate these two things for our own mental health. I know in my own life personally, I have had to decouple these things because I didn't feel like I was measuring up. A lot of times, society or Netflix or Instagram or all these different social media platforms make us feel like we are not measuring up, like we are not living these fantastic lives like everybody else is around us. The truth is that your net worth or your net income is just a marker. It's just a number to give you a signpost. I look at mine as just a marker of where I am and where I want to go. So some people could be in debt. They could have a house loan, they could have student loans, they could have a car loan. And knowing that number, knowing where you stand, gives you the ability to look forward into the future and say, okay, this is where I am. Now this is where I want to go. So never ever compare your own financial situation to that of someone else. That happens a lot. You feel like, oh, I am in the technology space, I'm working as a project manager, I should be making X amount of dollars, and I should be driving this type of car, living in this type of house or apartments, and going on this type of vacation every year. But you never know what someone else is going through or what they have been through or what kind of financial situation they had growing up. So you have to separate what your own personal net worth is from where you are in your life. I can tell you in my own life that it has been a very winding path to get to where I am. When I came out of college, I was coming out into the Great Recession. People were being laid off. Companies were not hiring workers, they were letting workers go. So it was very difficult to find a salaried position or a career that you wanted to have long-term because these people were not hiring. These companies were not hiring individuals like myself to come on in those companies and work full-time. I also feel like the workforce has changed. When you get a job, I would love to say that you're going to be at a corporate position for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and for a lot of people that might be true. If you get a government job, if you get a job at a nonprofit, I hope that that is true, that you could work at somewhere, at a place that you love for 10 or 20 years. But for many corporate people, it is a short-term working experience. When I say short-term, I mean several years, that you may stay at a place 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, but you're gonna have to move on in order to move up the corporate ladder. That is what I have found in my life, or that's just what I have experienced, is that I've worked at several different places in several different jobs, and every time that I wanted to move up or increase my position, I had to go out into the world and look for a different job to get a higher paying position. And some of that was not my own doing. There were several jobs that I've had. One company that I worked for went bankrupt, so they let everybody go. One company I worked for just decided to let several people at the lower level go, and so I was kind of forced to go out in those moments and say, okay, what do I want my career to look like? What kind of job do I want to get, and where do I want to go? Like in those moments, you just feel almost like it's your failure. You feel like you're not measuring up to what society's expectations are, or your family's, or just your own expectations. That sometimes that is not the case, and you have to roll with the punches. Now, there are several things that I have done and I have worked on to separate my net worth from my self-worth. It's a good practice to think of your job not as who you are. A lot of people think, I'm a doctor, that's who I am, that's part of my life. But for me, I like to separate my job from my personal life. So my job is what I do, it's not who I am. Even though I have spent years and years and years in the tech space, and I've done project management, I've done support, I've done all these different roles, I don't look at my job as part of who I am. I just look at it as something that I do. And that really gives me a mental break between who I am in my personal life and who I am in my work life. Even though they are tied together, you spend so much time at your work, you spend so much time putting in your mental energy and your physical energy into your work, but it's not who you are. You are someone else that you just happen to do your job. Find work that you can do forever. Find work that doesn't necessarily feel like work or isn't so stressful or so difficult that you see yourself burning out after a short amount of time. Many jobs can be very high stress. If you're a doctor and you're working on patients, you have to keep them alive. If you are working at a tech firm, you don't want the business to go offline. If it's an online business, that can be very stressful. If you're a pilot, you've got to fly the plane. You've got to be able to do that successfully and not lose your cool, or there will be consequences. And I just feel like if you can find work that you enjoy, that doesn't always feel like work, or you feel like is having an impact in the world, but isn't so stressful that you don't want to do it after a certain amount of time, that's work that you can do forever. That's work that you can do for 10, 20 years. That is really what wealth building is about. The best businesses are decades long, or even, a generation long, and those businesses just build their business one brick at a time. Same with careers, same with wealth. You have to be able to put those bricks in order to get to the next level, in order to create something that is going to last. And it's important that you be able to do work, or find work that you can do for 10 years, 20 years in the long term, that you know isn't going to burn you out. Because for me, that's also been a big part of my mental health, is doing work that I feel like is making an impact and isn't so stressful that I don't want to do it after a while. I want to be able to feel good and be able to feel like I can continue to do that work day after day. If you find something that you can do for the long term, or that you enjoy, you can do this forever and the money will follow. If you can do something repetitively, over and over, consistently, money will follow. I feel like that is what I learned at Starbucks. They have a barista routine, a routine for making perfect drinks every single time. And if you consistently do that, you consistently get just a little bit better day after day, and you consistently perform at a top level, the money will follow. There have been moments where I have had to step back. I've had to stop what I was doing. Even though I was making good money at certain positions, I've taken a step back and taken lower paying jobs because I feel like what I was doing was not making an impact, or was not leading to where I wanted to lead. And so I stepped back and said, okay, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go? And I'll even start at a lower salary or at a lower level, because this over here is what I would rather do and the impact that I want to make in society, versus the higher paying job that's more stressful, making you feel like you are empty. Keep educating yourself. It's important to your mental health to continue to be active mentally, to keep learning, to keep engaging. When we get out of school, it is up to us, it's up to adults to continue their own education. Once you leave the education system, it's important for you to take classes, to continue reading, and to continue gaining new skills. This is important for our mental health, that we keep evolving, that we keep feeling like we are contributing to society and that we are getting better over time. That can be difficult when you have a family, you have pets, you have children, you have grandparents, you have all these people, spouses with you that are competing for your time, but you have to set aside time for yourself to continue your own self-development. That will improve your mental health and help you develop your self-worth and make you a valuable member of society. The most important thing that I have done to separate my self-worth from my net worth was finding things outside of work to bring me purpose. And that is family, that is friends, and that is other organizations. There's lots of things in this world that are competing for your time. Your work, your family, your spouse. I think it's important to give time to all of those things, but it's also important to take time for yourself. And number one, find friends that are outside of your work space. It's important to interact with people that are doing different things. I think it's great to intermingle different people together that are from different walks of life, that are from different careers, that are in different ages, and get them talking and get them connecting. Having friends that you enjoy interacting with will make life more enjoyable and keep things interesting. If you find people that are not in your current workspace, that do different things than you, that have a different career, that have a different life, and are doing different things, then that will keep life interesting. Find organizations that are different from your work. It has been really important to me to get involved into charity. I've always done some type of charity in my life, from high school, college, till I was an adult. I have done different things and are in different groups. I feel like that really breaks the paradigm. We spend so much time doing our daily work, trying to earn money to pay for our lifestyle, that we don't think about all the other organizations that are out there that could use our assistance. Our time is more valuable than our money. Money you can earn and you can make more of, and you can learn how to grow. But time you never get back. Time, when you spend it, it's gone and you don't get it back. Donate your actual time to an organization like Toastmasters or World Vision or Boys and Girls Club, all these different non-profit organizations. That is time that you cannot get back. It's meaningful, it can have an impact in other people's lives, and it's not something that you're doing for money. So it doesn't have the same connection in your brain as working for money does. I think it's really important to find those organizations that you connect with, that you click with, and that you feel can have an impact outside of your day-to-day life. Because also, when you give your time, you're giving your time to an organization, and you're seeing direct impact in your communities and in the individuals that you are working with. That can be so powerful and important. It's not easy to carve out time in your life to go do those things, but it has helped me a lot to really separate my work life from my personal life or my just inner self. I feel like work is not the only thing I can do. I can have an impact in this other space, in this other work that I'm doing over here that doesn't necessarily bring me money. My hope going forward is that you separate your net worth from your self-worth, and that you continue to build your wealth, but you also continue to build your personal life and continue to stay healthy mentally and physically. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button and get your free money using the links down below in the description. And remember, make good money choices.